Jeffrey, what's going on there, young man? What's up? What's up today?
Hey, it is actually a beautiful day in the Napa Valley
No,
today.
no way.
Blue skies, blue skies. The sun is out and it's warming up a little bit. I remember this, how it used to be like this. It's been a long winter.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good,
So
very good. Well, listen,
yeah,
we
it's
got a
nice.
webinar we got to jump on here in literally about 19 minutes, private coaching webinar. So let's get to this thing that I read today. That it's a statement, so it's not a question.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to embellish. I guess that's the wrong word, but you're going to have to do something with it. Anyway, so this guy, James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits,
Yep.
and I'm sure you're on your third reading of it. I gave you the book a few months ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So one of his quotes I read today, and this really is so true, I think, about tennis players, is true behavior change is really identity change. So that I think a lot of players out there, first of all, they don't know really what their brand is. They don't know who they are.
Right.
And so since they don't have an identity, it's really tough to make changes in their game.
Right.
So
Right. I would agree with that. Yeah, yeah. That's an interesting. It's a great statement, and it's an interesting thought process because I think you described yesterday a player that you talked to about who is kind of pigeonholed in there because of the way they've been taught to play doubles.
that's right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And the guy was always kind of just in his lane, if you will. And if it wasn't within that parameter, he wasn't involved. Right. So.
Right.
I think there's there can be this battle between your natural personality. Are you spontaneous? Are you creative? Or are you, you love to follow the rules and whatever it might be, and not saying whether one is better than the other, because we all kind of walk to the beat of a different drummer. And at the same time, though, what belief system have you allowed yourself to adopt?
Yeah.
How you play the game, and is your belief system in concert with who you are? And sometimes, I think a lot of players, especially in their development, never get the blending. Of the two things.
So well, I'm just thinking an example might be someone who is pulling the trigger too early in the point, right? Is looking for the exit, and
right,
and yet they're trying to stay in the point longer because they're being told, well, look, you got to work the point a little bit,
right?
But that's not their true identity. Their true identity is someone who's kind of like, I'm just sitting on the hot seat all the time, and I got to get this thing. I mean, this person's whole life is that way, right?
Right.
And everything they do.
Right.
So if you're going to make that change to become more of a consistent shot maker and really wait for what is an obvious opportunity, then that becomes an identity change. You can't really make that change to becoming a consistent shot maker if you're just this ADD type of person, right? Who's just out there running around with their head cut off. In the world. So I just thought it was an interesting statement today that he made, and that's one of his things, that the way that you create habits that actually stick is that they become
right.
You have to, it's a true identity change. So it's
right.
like
well, that's it. That's interesting though, because my own personal journey. On the road to be, a Division I ball player playing the tour, was at the end of my junior career, leading into my junior college career. I kind of had to eliminate my creativity and get down to the bare bones of, can you hit four balls in the cross court, Jeff? No. because it's not that I couldn't. It's just that I didn't see the game that way.
Right.
And so so for a year and a half or so, 2 years maybe, I really had to eliminate my creative side from the game, and see the possibilities of playing it a little bit more in a linear kind of in the box fashion. And then with me, yes. And then when I hooked up with Sherm Stever, he helped reintroduce my personality into what I learned the last couple of years, and that's when my game really exploded on the good side. But it wasn't a full-on just have at it, let your personality run. It was now I had an understanding of blending the two things and understanding kind of how to manage my personality within the framework of playing aggressive serve and volley tennis, but also making the first volley doesn't have to be a dinger every time. So there is this blend for me. Was it an identity change? I don't know. Maybe it was more identity management for me.
That's right.
In that, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, I do think though that there was probably a change in there. I mean, it's probably a compromise. It's maybe not a full personality change, but it's some kind of compromise to say that, well, I just can't be this type of 100% creative person 100% of the time out here. So,
I think it was understanding how to be that doing combining the two skills was creative.
Right.
That like today we call it pattern work. There is a creative edge to it because we're constructing a point to create an opportunity, and we all finish the point a little differently. I'm going to be more inclined to try and get to the net and finish it there, where somebody else is going to be inclined to hang back, be a counterpuncher, and do that. That's how they see the game.
Yeah, and I think that you could also say that if you're trying to become more of a consistent shot maker, as we used an example before, that you could start telling yourself, well, I am the type of player who can do this thing, who can actually hit, like you were saying, four shots inside the court. And you start to get this identity, maybe not as a human, but as a player, where you can start to say, well, I am the kind of player who fill in the blank. And for me, that was like, I mean, because I was pure serve and volley till I got to about 60s, and then that didn't work. Father Time caught up. Right. So I had to make a change, and that actually became, I am the kind of player who can do this thing that I absolutely could not do before. Right.
Yes, and I would agree with that too. Because stepping back into the tournaments at age 52 in 2012. My own evolution, and you've been part of that evolution, is, my own identity as a player is evolving. It's still evolving, as I play events and kind of figure out new things, what my skill set can and cannot do anymore. And learning new skills too, that I can do this now that I didn't even really consider at age 24. As you said, in your own game, it's like, wow, at age 24, 35 or whatever, you wouldn't even have considered having a drop shot be a major part of your game because there was just no need.
Right.
There was literally no need for it.
Well, the dropper becomes the ultimate weapon as we age up. That's right. Hey, we got to jump off this call right here, Jeff. We got to get on to, we have a private student webinar, coaching webinar coming up. So guys, listen, hope you got something out of this today, out of today's Gold Ball Hunting podcast. If this sort of intrigued you a little bit, Jeff and I are still offering at the time of this recording a free 10-minute coaching call. That again, it's free, complimentary on the house. We'll take care of it. All you got to do is bring that one thing in your game right now that you just can't figure out. And the way to get this scheduled, and you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you, just go over to goldballhunting.com. And if you're not on our email list, just drop in your first name and email, and you'll get dropped right into our online scheduling calendar, and we can set up that call. Again, it's a private call. It's free, just the three of us, me and Jeff and you, and we'll figure out that one thing for you. So, Jeffrey, what do we do right now? What do we do right now that we want to find folks to do?
Like us, share us, please subscribe, and leave a comment below.
Outstanding. Guys, get out there today, help someone else. Have a spectacular day, and we're going to do this again tomorrow, Jeff.
I can't wait.